Dehne.
Sam Dehne, the Encyclopedia of Reno Government. I'm an Air Force Academy graduate. Spent many years flying fighters and bombers, defending our nation against enemies inside of the border and outside of the border. I've been to and I call myself the Encyclopedia of Reno Government because I am. I've been to every city council meeting since 1994. I used to go to all of the airport meetings. And what we have is a tremendous juxtaposition of what Mr. Dehne just said and this gentleman following him talking about the homeless being squeezed off of the streets. It's a terrible juxtaposition between the bourgeoisie and the massive salaries they are getting, as pointed out by Mr. Dehne, which is only one of many, many bloated, bureaucratic salaries that I see around the community as juxtaposed against the poor folks laying out in the street and I'm not trying to pick on the police because they're the ones who told them to do it, to water them down, get them out of here, get them out of here. You see this lady, and I wasn't really going to talk about that, but Mr. Dehne, I used to go to all of the airport meetings, and it was just too disgusting to follow. They do not have there are 9 people on that board, and not one of them has any aircraft background. I'm a fighter pilot, bomber pilot, airline pilot. Doesn't make me perfect. I tried for that board probably 75 times, never even got close to being appointed to it. Instead, they want to appoint their cronies. They appoint 4 of the people on that board, and Mr. Ayatsi tries to say he can't do anything anymore. Well, you certainly have the bully pulpit right here to tell them what to do. And that wasn't my main purpose. I want to juxtapose those bloated salaries for these government bureaucrats as opposed to massive amounts of people being laid off from their jobs and having to go on unemployment insurance compensation. And I know of one young Marine Corps veteran who has worked in this town for 20 years, never 1 penny of unemployment insurance compensation. He was laid off after doing a phenomenal job, noble job. They laid him off and claimed that he misused the cell phone that the company ordered him to take. Said he made a couple of private calls on it, so they terminated him. The unemployment gurus down there in Carson City say, if you're terminated, you get nothing. So here's this Marine Corps veteran thrown out into the streets. Maybe he's going to be down there watered down next week for all we know. Thrown out in the streets, terminated, and his boss in this government organization makes over $150,000 a year. And here's this young man. And they haven't even filled the job that he was supposedly terminated from. These scams and these schemes that they're making up. And as bad as that is, the next worst thing is the media. The next thing is those unemployment gurus who are just spokesmen for the fat cats like the head lady down at the airport and all of these other peoples. It's a disaster. It's a massive divide in our community between the bourgeoisie, the rich, overpaid, bloated bureaucrats, and the poor people out in the street.